So, welcome back, boys and girls. So, we're here where it says growing food from mountain peaks to coastal plains. The success of the empire depended upon the commoners, most of whom were farmers. The Inca cultivated many different crops, including potatoes, corn, beans, peanuts, manioc, chili peppers, tomatoes, and squash. Cotton grew in the hot, dry coastal regions. Quinoa thrived in cooler, wetter mountain areas. Terrace farming was a common practice in the Andes Mountains. Like the Maya, the Inca transformed hillsides with terraces, or steppes of flat land. They built raised aqueducts and irrigated their crops with water from mountain springs. The terraces helped trap water, preventing erosion and runoff. The Inca produced an abundance of food for an ever-growing empire, working with simple hoes, sod-breaking clubs, and foot plows. So here on this picture, it shows how they grew potatoes and how potatoes were native to the Indian highlands. So they had not only potatoes, corn, they had all of these different types of food. And quinoa, which Miss Rogers loves. I love quinoa. All things that they were able to grow and cultivate on their coastal plains. So that could be a factor, boys and girls, that also contributed to them being one of the largest or the largest pre-Columbian empire. So let's continue to read. Government organization tribute rules for the commoners. With each new conquest, the empire acquired new land and more commoners to work the land. The empire controlled the land and the crops grown on it. Commoners were organized into family units of 10 to 20 people. Governors divided the land among each unit, or alu. Each alu cultivated three separate plots. One plot was for feeding the priests and gods, another for feeding the empire and his nobles, and the other for feeding themselves. The governors collected some of the harvest crops and placed them in storehouses throughout the empire. Storehouse produce fed traveling armies and served as disaster relief in times of emergency. The Inca did not use any form of money like the Aztecs. They had a tribute or a tax system. The government collected tribute in two ways. First, people paid a good tax based on the number of people in the alu. For example, commoners only kept about one-third of their harvest. They sent two-thirds to the gods and nobles. People also paid tribute with pottery, textiles, and gems. The second government tax was a service or labor tax called mita. Each household each household, sorry, boys and girls, chose someone, often the father, to fulfill the government's meter requirement. Some people served in the armies. Other built roads and buildings. Still others worked in the mines, mining copper, tin, gold, or silver. As a result of the Minta tax, the Inca built the most advanced road system in pre-Columbian South America. Wow, boys and girls. So this is amazing. So each of them all had their roles. So each of them had to have a meat attack. They all had a meat attack, and they all had to participate in some type of way. So some served in the army, some were growing crops. You see some mining, constructing a wall, and for them to one of the really cool, interesting facts that they stated was the Inca had the most advanced road system in pre-Columbian South America. Wow. Like you think about that. They were building and making roads. They had none of the electricity and construction and everything that we have today. So they were very advanced. So we're going to continue reading. In exchange for tribute, the government took care of the people. It made sure that people did not go hungry. The government cared for the sick and elderly. It made sure people in the empire had homes so they were not homeless. As long as people obeyed the Sampa Inca rules, they received good care. If people disobeyed, they received severe punishment. If a farmer took food from the emperor's field, he risked being severely punished. If he condemned the gods, he could surely lose his life. So, boys and girls, let's stop right here. And now I want you guys to read this area here where it talks about the color coded system of counting knots. And then we're going to begin on our last few portions of the reading.